Sometimes I've got to say things that I don't want to say, and you have got to hear some things that you don't want to hear. And what I am saying to you today is, it's time to start Christmas shopping. How do you beat the devil? You wake up before him. Before we launch into this video, let me convince you why at this early stage it is in fact time to start Christmas shopping. Nay, I feel that by the end of this video I will have given you a solid plan of how to complete your Christmas shopping, or at least make a plan for what you're going to do with your Christmas shopping by the time the video has ended. Get a pen and paper, let's go. So the reason you should start shopping, or at least making a plan for shopping now, is because the great marketing departments of capitalism have already begun. They had this meeting in June. They have already made a plan of how they're going to get into your brain and make you buy the thing they want you to buy, rather than the thing that might be something you want to buy, or something that will genuinely be useful or bring joy to the people you love. There are already adverts that have been completed and scheduled that are targeted specifically to you. Like, they have your name on a list, they're coming for you. So before those start rolling out, we make our decisions in advance. Not only that, but I think the best and most sustainable way to shop, hi, if you're new here, I'm not trying to be an eco-activist, I'm not trying to be the pinnacle of perfection when it comes to sustainability. I'm merely just trying to act like what is happening is really happening and live and try and thrive in reality. And one of the most sustainable things you can do when you're shopping is to shop small. And the small fact about small businesses, as somebody who runs a small business, positive panic patches, it is your time to shine, or what's left of them, is that people who run small businesses have very long timelines. They have limited funds to sink into manufacturing products, and therefore their timelines for ordering are a lot longer. Also, their timelines for packing are a lot shorter, because they're not using grave amounts of underpaid 0-hour contract, God forbid, slave labor to pack their presents. They're doing it themselves, and they also deserve a humane December and some time off at Christmas. So getting those orders in early to those small businesses makes those businesses viable. That's reason number 2 to start looking now. Reason number 3 is that the longer you are mentally open to the idea of buying a present for someone, the more likely you are to find something specifically tailored and perfect for them. 1 week is not enough time to spot something that somebody will genuinely like, or come across something, or even search for something that somebody will genuinely value, and then for you to order that thing and then for it to arrive with you. So I believe that timing is as important as the materials that you're buying or the way that you're shopping, because of all of those factors, not only for you and your sanity and the people that you love getting presents that they genuinely enjoy and they don't have to do that face when they open the presents on Christmas Day, but because sustainability is also about strategy, and our strategy is we wake before the devil. Another thing to cover before we get into the categories of things you could buy is making a list of the people you are actually going to buy presents for. Have you made a list of all the people you feel like you should? Okay, now halve that list. We are not buying presents for people out of obligation. We are not buying presents for people that we do not know. And we are not buying presents for people unless we genuinely feel like we really want to make that person feel valued and we want them to be in our lives for a long, long time. That is the gift of the half-arsed human. Again, sustainability isn't just about whether the thing that you buy has made out of sustainable wood or plastic or whatever. It's also about the volume of presents we buy and whether we're genuinely valuing the people that we're buying them for, or we're doing it out of some kind of sense of obligation and then so are they. I think it's also very realistic and totally fine, especially in these early stages, to drop them a little message. You go, hey, I know it's early, but I'm just wondering if making a plan. I'm wondering if we're going to do presents this year. And if they're not a close enough family member or good enough friend for you to say that to, then the answer has answered itself. Maybe no presents for them. Maybe a card, maybe an outing, maybe a well wish, maybe a phone call. But I do think with the people that you really care about, it's okay to go, are we doing presents this year? And the other person might go, actually, it's really tight for me this year. Like, I don't really, because I think also because of the cost of living crisis, it's really good to be open with the people around you about whether you are going to give them a gift so they don't feel pressured to overspend, or they have to get you a present out of obligation and then put themselves in a hard financial situation. So I think, again, communication before we even start this process is very good. If you now should have your list of people that you're buying presents for. Let's get on to the categories. The first category is Consumables. We all consume things in our life. It is impossible not to, whether that is food or toiletry or other things that we use around the house. And because they are things that the people in your life will already be buying and consuming, buying them a slightly nicer version or an upgraded version or maybe a more eco version of that thing, in theory, doesn't add very much consumption to their overall yearly consumption. It more just gives them something like a nicer experience while they're doing that. Examples of this are local teas and coffees you can pick up next time you go to a little coffee shop or a little market. Things that are local. This one's from a place in Sheffield that I really love. It's raspberry and almond, but I'm going to tell you this basically is like Bakewell tart tea, and it's so freaking good. So if you're planning any trips in the next couple of months, already put it on your list to be like, gonna get tea for Mary when I go to Yorkshire, something like that. In previous years, I've given and received recipe baskets, which are little baskets of a recipe that I really like, or the person I'm giving to me really liked, and then some of the core dry or like non-fresh goods that you'd need to make that meal. That's a really sweet present to receive. And a recipe book that I have been enjoying reading, haven't tried anything yet, but enjoyed reading, is this one called Sylvia Plath's Tomato Soup Cake, which is classic authors' favourite recipes, like a whole book of them, which is very, very sweet. So if somebody has like a specific interest, like you can get Redwall recipe books and I'm sure loads of other kinds of recipe books, and then get them some food to go along with it. Again, it's a consumable resource. You'd also be buying in and funding the publishing industry, which I appreciate. Books are very, very easy to buy locally from your independent bookshops. That is a great option. Soaps of all kind. I've raved about how much I've been impressed with what Lush has been doing recently, and they're specifically making a soap for Gaza at the moment. So that's an option. I bet you have a local soap maker or like somebody in your town who is making soap and has a little website or does a little market stall. It can also be a way to convert people into buying less plastic if that's something that you do. So I often get people my favorite bar shampoo, which is Harry Jane bar shampoo, which I love. I'm honestly also probably going to get a lot of people in my life this Kinda Code cheese, which is my favorite kind of vegan cheese, which I think everybody, vegan, non-vegan, will absolutely bloody love. Or it can be things like toiletries. These, as somebody who talked very skeptically in Half-Assed Human about the skincare industry, the only really products that I use on my face are a very simple and effective cleanser, a very simple and effective moisturizer, and SPF. I get these ones from a sustainable brand called My Skin Feels, and I think like how crushed down they are is probably a very good indicator of how much I love them. But yes, anything that people already consume in their real lives, think about how you can upgrade that or tailor that or make it more specific to them or from a specific place that they like or a specific place that you live in that you want to like a thoughtful way to give to them. All of those things are possible. I guess adjacent to that category are refillables, things that inevitably have to come in packaging of some kind, but you can give them an option for something that they can refill with the refill, or at least something they might choose to refill. Two examples from my life are this hand sanitizer that I freaking love. Ever since the pandemic, I have been using a lot more hand sanitizer and also sanitizing my toilet seats every time I go in. And this is a really non-sticky, very, very nice smelling one from Han. And they also sell the refills. So I've been refilling these for ages and they're great. Another example, if you've watched my lipstick video, will be refillable lipsticks. This is my favorite one. It's from Lisa Eldridge. These ones you can also just buy the canister if you don't want to buy the case, but the cases, like if you buy from her website, there is an option to engrave them with somebody's initials, so that potentially could be a really, really sweet, valuable, keep forever kind of heirloom product. The next category is last forever products, things that you would usually go through quite a few of, but like you're getting them a nicer version that will last, hopefully, forever, so they don't have to keep throwing stuff out. One of my favorite recent examples of this is my soaked umbrella. This is a small Manchester company that wanted to address the problem that apparently like 1 billion umbrellas go into landfill every year because they're so shit, not very well made. So they've made one that is supposed to last a really, really long time and is also made out of recycled plastic and wood, and is just like a much fancier upgrade of something very simple that you do need in your life, especially if you live in the UK. Another example is this rechargeable candle lighter that I've had for maybe 3 years now. It's USB chargeable and it lights your candle like this. But the amount of matches or lighter fluid I used to go through that I no longer have to, and the fact that like it's bendy so you can like light stuff without burning your fingers. If somebody's really into candles, or perhaps you're giving them a candle as well, maybe thinking about giving them a tool that will last a really, really long time and replaces something disposable. Very good. And another thing we rarely pay attention to, but actually if it could last forever, I think that would save a lot of stuff from landfill, is sleepwear. This is one of the only, is this the only gifted thing? I think everything else I've bought with my own money and I haven't been sponsored in any way, but this is the one thing that has been gifted to me for review, which is this amazing sleep robe from Irregular Sleep Pattern, who are a small, thoughtful business based in Glasgow. And is this not like the best dressing gown you could ever imagine for my personality? I freaking love it. They also make really decent sized, like really chunky, robust toiletry bags that I've been loving. I've been road testing these and I genuinely think they are gonna last me until I die. So often shopping small isn't just like, oh, a very nice thing to do, very altruistic and kind of me. It also just sometimes makes more sense because they're actually making things that they want to last. The final category, and like the most famous among sustainable and like trying to be a little bit more sensible with your money circles, is digital presence and experiences. Of course, there are classes, there are events, there are things that you can buy for your people and you know them best. But if you are stuck, I have two suggestions. One is National Trust, if you live in the UK, do gift cards that you can give people, but they've also started doing passports. So you can bring your little passport to National Trust whenever you go and they stamp your passport, and they're only £5. That's a really sweet little present to give somebody, maybe with a gift card as well, to like give them enough money to go to 1 or 2 National Trust houses. But me and Craig have had a lot of fun. We got given a National Trust membership as a wedding present from our friend Jer, and we have already had some great times exploring and getting our book stamped. And the other one is a company who are doing audiobooks in a card. I've seen these in a few different bookshops, but you can buy them online as well, and they're very, very beautiful, and they're literally just what it says. They're audiobooks in a card. They've just released one with Tilda Swinton, and they've got loads of really famous people. So even if you're giving to somebody who doesn't have an Audible subscription, or they don't want to like get into any of the ecosystem of audiobooks, like just giving them one simple token for one audiobook. And if they're not like hugely into books, they might be into some of the people who are reading those books, because some of those people are really cool. I think that would be a really sweet kind of digital, but also you have something very small and physical to give somebody kind of present. Next, we're going to talk about wrapping. Do you need to wrap things? I personally am in favour of the good old close your eyes, hold your hands out wrapping method, in that I don't wrap them, I just tell people to close their eyes and then I put the present on their lap. But failing that, there are loads of other ways to wrap your presents, and this might be a good moment to draw your attention to, or remind you if you don't know, that most wrapping paper isn't recyclable, especially if it's got that glossy finish on it. You can't recycle it. Don't put it in your recycle bin. It's literally, it has to go into landfill. It's not happening. So if you're receiving stuff like that, just know, just don't put it in your recycling. It's going to ruin the recycling batch. However, as a gift giver, you don't have to wrap stuff in paper, or if you do, you can wrap it in plain brown paper and do your own little drawings on it. You can buy specifically recycled brown wrapping paper that has like little prints on it that is specifically recyclable. You can also, now you've got some time on your hands and you've done everything so much in advance, next time you're in a charity shop or a thrift shop, pick up some of those little scarves that they have in there for 50p or £1, and you can tie your presents in little bundles or little knots in a little silk scarf. How luxurious. And then of course there's the old mighty safety reuse the gift bags from last year. My favourite. Now is our troubleshooting section, just taking a minute to help you pick between things if you're not sure like what's the best thing to buy. I would say that the smaller the business is, the more likely they are to be paying tax and paying their workers legally and fairly. It is very hard to dodge the law if you aren't a millionaire or a billionaire. So even if in doubt and you're not sure of the credentials, or you can't tell from the website how ethical they are, I would just be like, the smaller they are, the smaller their social media following. If they don't have a bricks and mortar shop, or they only have one, or they have two, those are all good signs that you're buying from a small business, and that's probably gonna be the better option. The other thing is about where the products are manufactured and where the business is based. The more local generally the better. And if you're buying a present for somebody who lives internationally, like somebody in a different country to you, sometimes it's really nice to find a local business near them and get their present directly delivered to them from a local business. I think that's really nice, and you often have the option of putting in a little gift message or something, and then you can send them a personal card if you want, like directly from you, but that's always a nice sustainable option as well to minimize things flying across the world for no apparent reason. When you're deciding whether to buy something for somebody, think about how they will be using it in their lives. Think about them coming across it on their kitchen table or using it when they're out. Like, can you picture them doing it and genuinely having a nice time doing it? Sometimes I am guilty of picturing how I will feel when I present them the gift, like how impressive it will look or how voluptuous the packaging is, and therefore it feels like a real treat. But I think the long-term treat is so much better than the short-term treat. So thinking about how it will actually fit into their lives is great. I have given some of my family incredibly bizarre gifts that at the time they've been like, I don't know, thank you. And then 6 months later, they've been like, oh my God, this gift has saved my whole life. For example, I gave my dad one of those ear cameras where you can look inside your ear and see, because I have one, because I also get really blocked ears, just to see how blocked up it is. And maybe you can scoop some stuff out if you need to, very carefully. And obviously it wasn't a very grand gift to give him. I think we were in an Indian restaurant at the time, and I presented it with him, and I was like, he was just like really confused, and I was like, trust me. And when he actually started using it for the specific problem that he had with his ears, he was like, this is actually really useful. And I was like, I know, you're welcome. Keep it forever. So I think don't feel nervous about looking weird at the time, because if you're giving the present to somebody that really gets you and you get them, which is the only kind of person you should be giving presents to, it will eventually make sense to them and they will trust the process, even if at the time they're a bit like, If in doubt, ruin the surprise. Ask them if it's something that they would want. This is another advantage to starting early, because odds on, if you do have to ask them, is this something that you'd be interested in, or is this something that you already have? The sooner you do it, the less likely they are to remember, or at least be a little bit surprised when you give it to them in December. I always would prefer to be asked rather than be surprised by something that I already have or genuinely I wouldn't use, or I'm not really, like, it gives me the ick, or it like doesn't fit into my life in some way. And then finally, if you're just losing hope and there's somebody on that list still, the list you've been making as you've been listening to this video of like ideas of what you're going to get everybody, there's still somebody that you're like, I literally have no idea, I'm so lost, I'm in the dark. I don't think there's any shame in buying from a business that you believe in, even if you're not sure if they're going to like it, especially if it's a consumable or something that they'll use, or if it's something that's easily re-giftable. I don't think there's any problem. Like, it's your money. Like, you're allowed to buy from a business that you believe in or a charity that you believe in, and that's enough. Good example is the bag that's sitting at my feet at the moment, which is from Art House Unlimited, which are an amazing charity that work with adults with disabilities and amazing art talents to make chocolate and hand cream and tea and bags and lots of little accessories and cards and things that are just wonderful, and they're like a non-for-profit and I freaking love them. So sometimes I buy stuff from them and give them to people that I'm not like sure what to get them, just because I'm like, at least these people have the money and I love these people. The same with small businesses like Harry Jane that I just want to be in business because selfishly I want to make sure that I can buy my favourite shampoo until I'm 80. I will give a present from them because I'm also just like investing in that business. Like, that's where I want my Christmas money to go. And then it's so much better than going to Boots and panic buying a little bundle of like shitty makeup that I don't even know if the person that I'm giving to will even use or like, and it all goes to landfill before next Christmas rolls around. That's the situation we are trying to avoid at all costs. And finally, if you're really stuck, I must do my little pitch at the end. As you know, none of these brands that I've mentioned are sponsored. Like, I love them all. I've paid for all of them, but the irregular sleep pattern myself, and I haven't been financially compensated for shouting them out. I don't have any affiliate links, all of that. The only thing that I'm going to pitch to you in this video that I will directly benefit from is my book Half-Assed Human, which is at the moment is only out in hardback, will be out in paperback by the 8th of December. So that is something you can pre-order and it will arrive for you whenever. And if you've been thinking about buying Half-Assed Human for a friend, and I know a lot of you have very kindly told me that you really enjoyed the book, giving somebody a paperback, something a little bit smaller, a little bit more pocketable, a little bit more cash, might be a really nice present. Just saying. I'm very British, so I struggle to pitch my own products, but I tried to make this book as much of a you're doing your best, hug in a book, guide to living better without burning out and forgiving yourself for living a bit of a slapdash life. So that is your pitch. Thank you so much for watching this video. My goal for this Christmas is that I buy the products don't buy me. Inevitably, there will be a little bit of shopping, but I'm hoping that they are purchases that will support the world that I can see coming over the horizon that I know might be here eventually. Before I die, please. And supporting the people who are genuinely trying to build honest, future-proof, beautiful, creative businesses, because God knows we're going to need them. Thank you so much for watching this video. As I said, wasn't sponsored, but the reason that it can still happen is because of the Gumption Club. They keep the lights on around here, and in exchange, I add them to a secret Discord. We have read-alongs and lots of other all year round festive things. Like, it always feels like Christmas in the Gumption Club. So if you're interested in joining, and especially having a podcast every week from me, I think we have like 140 already that you can have access to straight away to keep you company while you are present wrapping and planning your life as the months get darker and more grim. The links to join the Gumption Club are below, so thank you so much to them. You have my blessing. Go forth and shop with Gumption. You now have a to-do list. All you need to do is execute it. Frog Snog out.